Indeed. Okay, well, these are, of course, the latest updates that we're continuously tracking for you. There has been a horrific tragedy very close to the Ahmedabad airport. AI 171, an Air India passenger flight going from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick, has crashed soon after takeoff. 242 people were on board that aircraft, including pilots and cabin crew. We're learning that so far there are no reports of any survivors. Remember, of course, emergency medical crew, firefighting brigades, national disaster response teams were pressed onto service immediately. But the scale of this tragedy has been so huge. And of course, remember, because there was so much fuel on board that aircraft, that we saw a huge fireball erupt very soon after it crashed, which is obviously leading to less hope for any survivors. But we will, of course, continue to get you those reports from Ahmedabad. But for now, of course, these are the latest pictures coming in. On one side of your screen, you can see perhaps these are family members who are concerned. Perhaps these are just citizens of Ahmedabad who are obviously very worried after seeing a tragedy of such immense proportions. And on the left of your screens, you can see the final moments of that aircraft before it crashed just outside the Ahmedabad airport premises. Let me go across to our guests who are live with us. Wing Commander Bhushan is continuing to be with us on the broadcast. Wing Commander Bhushan, this is a tragedy, of course, of immense proportions. It's also, something that we don't really see too often in Indian aviation. A crash of this kind so soon after takeoff doesn't really happen, does it?
Does it happen because the airlines are so very thorough in the work that they do that you will not normally find something like this happening, and that too with a Dreamliner. And then I think, as we all have been only guessworking that all this time, that bird hit, fuel starvation to the engine, any of those things. But it's one of the biggest air accident that in the Indian aviation history. We don't know how many survivors there. If all the 242 have gone, it probably ranked right at the top at the number of people that we lost. This is very tragic. But then we'll have to wait for seeing what it is.
Anxious family members are gathering outside the civil hospital in Ahmedabad. They're rushing to get an update about their loved ones who were on board the ill-fated London-bound aircraft. A man has broken down. You can see these visuals on your screen. Heart-breaking visuals. He's pleading with authorities to let him in. He wants to know what has happened to his family members. But remember, obviously right now, they're not being allowed in because there is a state of emergency at that hospital. There is still a glimmer of hope for those family members, but remember, with each passing hour, it is beginning to fade as well. The Indian Prime Minister has also put out a message on this incident, saying that his condolences, of course, are with the family members. Prime Minister Modi has also spoken with Home Minister Amit Shah and the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu. They are rushing to Ahmedabad as we speak. DGCA, of course, had an emergency huddle earlier. They will be launching an investigation into this incident as well very shortly. Also, we're learning GE is going to be sending a team to India as well. And of course, they will be trying to recover the cockpit data. Remember, the black box will contain various clues as to what happened on board this aircraft. Was there a dual engine failure? Was there an electronic shutdown? Was there a bird hit? Remember, the possibilities of all continue to exist. They cannot be ruled out. But it will only be through a proper investigation that final answers come. This is mere speculation right now. These are all preliminary reports. Remember, the crash has just taken place 2 to 3 hours back. Videos, of course, have come in showing, of course, the moment that plane went down. The pilot was continuing to make the flight rise, but that is not something that happened. The plane went down tail first into that area close to the Ahmedabad airport. Also, parts of the aircraft are lodged in buildings nearby, showing us that obviously there was that disintegration of the aircraft which happened as well moments before the crash. Manohar Kesri, my colleague, is joining us live on the broadcast. Manohar, the Civil Aviation Minister and the Home Minister on their way to Ahmedabad as we speak?
देखिए बिल्कुल केंद्रीय जो उड्डयन मंत्री हैं राम मोहन नायडू और मोदी उनके जो है सो अहमदाबाद किसी देर में पहुंचने वाले हैं। मोदी माहौल और दिल्ली में सिविल एविएशन सेक्रेटरी तो दिल्ली से रवाना हो चुके हैं। वहीं सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर जो है मुंबई से रवाना हुए हैं, कुछ ही देर में वहां पर पहुंचने वाले हैं। और एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो की जो टीम है, उनकी जो डीजी है, वो वहां पर पहुंच चुके हैं। उनकी जांच करेंगे कि आखिरकार ये घटना क्यों घटी, किस तरह से घटी, क्योंकि ब्लैक बॉक्स अभी तक मिला नहीं है आखिरकार वो कहा। क्योंकि जो वीडीआर है और सीबीआर है, इन सब की जांच होने के बाद ही पता चल पाएगा कि आखिरकार ये जो ब्लास्ट हुआ जिस तरह से 1:38 टेक ऑफ होने के 5 मिनट के बाद ये घटना सामने आई, तो इसकी क्या वजह रही है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात है कि अभी भी जो बीजीएमसी है, मतलब वहाँ के जो मेडिकल कॉलेज है, उनकी हॉस्टल कैंटीन पे ये फ्लाइट गिरी और वहाँ पर कई डॉक्टरों के जो है सो दबे होने की आशंका है, कई की जान चली गई है, कई लोग अस्पताल में भर्ती हैं। तो वहाँ अंदर अभी भी बचाव का विषय हो गया है। अगर फ्लाइट की बात करें तो फ्लाइट में कुल मिलाकर के 242 लोग सवार थे, जिनमें से 232 पैसेंजर्स थे, जिनमें से 2 इंफ्रेंट्स थे और इसमें फॉरेन नेशनल जिनके 169 इंडियन नेशनल थे। वहीं अगर हम बात करें तो मोर देन 50 ब्रिटिशर्स थे, 7 पुर्तगाली थे और 1 कैनेडियन थे। तो ये सभी थे और ये अभी भी वहाँ पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। एनडीआरएफ से 2 टीम पहले ही पहुंच चुकी थी, 4 टीम और भी कुछ ही क्षणों में पहुंचने वाली है। तो तमाम जो एजेंसियां, चाहे हम सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्ट्री की बात करें या फिर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के सीआरएफ की बात करें, तो तमाम एजेंसियां वहां पर लगी हुई है कि जल्द से जल्द जो है तो बचाव कार्य पूरा किया जाए।
कुछ और इस वक्त हमें जानकारी मिल रही है। In response to the Ahmedabad plane crash, 4 IAS officers have been appointed to oversee emergency services. The team will be functioning under the leadership of Health Principal Secretary Dhananjay Dwivedi. Officers from various departments have been assigned specific responsibilities to ensure coordinated relief, rescue and medical response at the crash site and related locations. So Manohar, a special team of IAS officers has been formed to oversee these rescue and relief operations.
बिल्कुल उनकी अगुवाई में टीम बना दी गई है ताकि जल्द से जल्द जो है तो रेस्क्यू कंप्लीट किया जाए। और जिन लोगों को जरूरत है, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री अमित शाह से और सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर से बात कर चुके हैं। प्रधानमंत्री ने ये भी कहा है काफी सब दिल दहला देने वाली घटना है, काफी दुखद घटना है। उन लोग जो अफेक्टेड है उनके साथ हमारी संवेदनाएं हैं और तमाम मिनिस्ट्री के साथ हम संपर्क में है। बना दी गई है कि जल्द से जल्द रेस्क्यू किया जाए।
Wing Commander Sudhakaran is back with us on the broadcast. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, of course, there is that continued state of emergency at the hospitals which are close to this crash site. Hope of any survivors, of course, though, is beginning to diminish with each passing hour. But Wing Commander Sudhakaran, from the live pictures coming in of Home Minister Amit Shah. He has left for Ahmedabad. That's what I was telling you a short while back. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu is with him as well. But Wing Commander Sudhakaran, coming to you on the the further details now that you've gathered from the time of this incident and the videos that you've seen as well. Are you beginning to get a sense now of what possibly could have gone so horribly wrong?
Good evening. I have already, conveyed that in the last hour or so. So there appears to be a definite failure of both the engines, because of which the thrust has not built up. because the aircraft didn't have thrust, it couldn't get the elevation that is required. The lack of elevation has, and with the nose up, has led to the aircraft getting into a stall, which means it has become tail heavy. The tail has gone down, and then that is where the first impact has happened, and the tail has got lodged into a building. The undercarriage has then subsequently got lodged into another building, or probably part of the same building. And then a part of the rear fuselage has got separated from the aircraft, just when the undercarriage has been impacted. Because of that, it could have got pulled down, and that is what has got into the aircraft. Now, the remaining part of the aircraft, which is roughly the remaining two-third portion of the aircraft, that is what has went and collided, and the ATF, which has then exploded because of it being an inflammable material. So the the first problem appears to be that both the engines have failed. Now, why did the engines fail? The engines could fail because of a couple of reasons, which is one of fuel starvation, or second is because of the catastrophic failure of the electrical systems. Now, electrical systems failing for both the engines could be an outcome of the battery packs, the lithium-ion battery packs, which are known to be their part of the 787 designs. So, but all these are assumptions as of now, but we will have to wait till the black box is recovered, the forensics are done, and then we will have to come to some kind of conclusion as to what happened first, because whatever has happened in a period of around 60 seconds to about 90 seconds. That's the rough time that we have had. These are the things, because till the time the aircraft was getting into the runway to take off, I think everything was in place, because otherwise the pilot wouldn't have, allowed the flight to take off. So which means till the time it took off, everything was perfect. It did climb to some altitude, which is around 642 feet or something, as I get to here now. So till that time, everything was okay. Round about when it was climbing to 500 to 600, that's when something has happened. And it could mostly be a fire incident, because there was smoke apparently that was seen from the engines, and the pilot has declared Mayday in the cockpit itself before any of these things happened. And by the time the ATC could revert back to the pilot to give any kind of instructions, I think the flight has already crashed, or they lost communication. So net, it looks like
डॉक्टर हर्षिल देसाई करके जो
multiple angles. But for the time being, I think I should keep all conspiracy theories, all speculations away. We must wait for the black box to be recovered and the forensics to be done on that.
Yes, absolutely. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, also, as far as this incident is concerned, do you believe, and as you said, the final conclusion will only happen after that black box is recovered. We do believe that GE Aerospace is also sending a team to India to analyze the cockpit data as well. But are all these possibilities on the table right now? Dual engine failure, electronic shutdown, possible bird hit as well? Or do you rule out any of these possibilities?
Sure, and then when we looked at the final few seconds of the aircraft,
yes,
you actually would see that the nose was up and the tail was down, which means the flight was trying to climb up, which it was clearly not able to do. That happens because either the wings were not generating a lift, and that is because the engines were not giving the thrust. Now, even if one engine was working, then that wouldn't have been the case. The pilot would have known it, and then he could have, because see, he's just 5 minutes away from the runway. So he could have circled back and he could have landed easily. And these aircrafts are capable of landing. Single engine landing is a given in these kind of an aircraft. Had it gained much more height, it could have even glided itself and landed itself. But then, since it was just about 600 feet, it is, like it is catastrophe with no thrust from the engine. So there is a case of dual engine failure here. But the engine technically is not failed, it is shut down. It could have been shut down because dual engines failing at the same time is not something, that happens even very remotely.
Yes.
So I would suspect
Okay.
that there is an explosion that has happened or a fire incident that has happened.
There
primarily
don't seem to
attributed-
be plumes of smoke there because the last few moments can be seen on camera. Okay, I'll come back to you in just a second. Jitendra Bhargava, former Executive Director, Air India, is also joining us now live. Jitendra Bhargava, very, very sad incident. Tragedy, possibly the worst air disaster in 3 decades. What do you make of this incident, Jitendra Bhargava, and what could possibly have gone so horribly wrong on board this Air India aircraft? Mr. Bhargava, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are having some. Mr. Bhargava, can you hear me? Okay, he's not answering us yet. I'll ask our producers to just check his audio. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, yes, you were coming in there on the explosion aspect, possible explosion, but there were no plumes of smoke. If there was a fire, wouldn't there have been plumes of smoke before it crashed? Can we unmute our Wing Commander Sudhakaran, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it is not a major explosion. When it is an internal lithium battery kind of an explosion, which is, we can't even call it as an explosion in the real terms. It could have affected the electrical buses or the fly-by-wire system that is there in the aircraft. So we are talking about that which could have messed with the control systems that could control the engine parameters. So that is why the pilot has given a mayday. So there is something that has happened in the aircraft which has compelled the pilot to give a mayday, right? Now that means that both the engines failing. Now cause for that failure, see, it is not a mechanical failure.
Did the parts of the aircraft begin disintegrating before the crash also?
No.
Did it hit a building? Which is when the tail end, the fuselage or whatever has got stuck in the building?
No, the aircraft was intact. It has hit the building when it has descended down on height, and the first floor, the tail of the aircraft has hit, and that has got lodged into a building.
Yeah.
There are videos to show that. The second is the undercarriage has got lodged into another building. And the third part is that the rear fuselage has got separated from the aircraft and it has gone into a building. So that is what you see from the inside video of a building, wherein you see the rear fuselage component.
But obviously that has all happened post. That has all happened post this incident.